Hello. Hello, good morning, everyone. Hello, good morning, everyone. I want to believe you can hear me. If you can hear me, please use the chat box. Anthony, good morning to you, sir. Thank you for joining. Can we get more confirmations? Yeah, Azim Zainab, good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining. Chinedu, thank you, sir. Good morning to you. Who else do I see? I see Kingsley. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for joining us. Good morning to you. Shoyemi, thank you very much for the confirmation. Good morning to you, sir. Kingsley, thank you. Thank you. Again, thanks for the confirmation. Cyril, thank you very much. Thank you for joining. James Ortega, thanks for the confirmation. Thank you for joining. Good morning to you. Thank you very much. Patience, thank you for the confirmation. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining. Anthony, good morning, sir. Thank you very much. And insurance, thank you very much to you as well. Thank you all for the confirmation. Good morning to you all. Thank you for joining. And I see a maker in the beef. Thank you very much for the confirmation as well. Thank you for joining. Who else do I see? Okay, I guess that's it for the confirmation. All right, thank you very much. Um, okay, let's get right to it. Good morning, everyone, once again. Who remain from Akure. Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you for joining. Good morning to you, Akure. Okay, so good morning once again. Good morning, everyone. So good morning to you all for taking the time out to join us on today's edition of the morning market review yet again. Okay, today, Tuesday, the 14th day, I believe, of October 2025, right? Um, Welcome you all, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome you traders. Even if it's your first time, it's great to have you join us for today's edition of our morning market review. If it's your very first time too, thank you for joining. You're most welcome. It's great to have you, like I said. As a quick reminder, on this forum every day, we get to look at what's going on in the markets in terms of fundamental events that we have shaping the markets right now. Uh, we also get to look at technical setups that we have on the charts. And we do all of this with the hope that we'll be able to get the setup, determine important key levels, and then wait for the perfect entry opportunity. Thank you very much, Mr. Brown. Thank you for joining. It's great to have you. Thank you very much, sir. It's great to have you join us, sir. Right. So we get to Clement. Thank you very much. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you for joining. Right. So important key levels and trade setups that we have for today and even for the rest of the week as well. But the focus, of course, is going to be for today. Okay. Um, so without further ado, let's get right to it. And usually we start with the measures, and then from there we start examining other pairs of interest. Okay. Right. So I also like to add that all of this is also done. Like every day, you get to meet with different analysts, get their perspective on different assets in the markets, and all of this is done with hope that when you're listening long enough, you follow this forum long enough, you're also able to come up with your own profitable strategies, picking from what we dish out here on a daily basis. You're also able to come up with your own profitable strategies that eventually gives you an edge over the markets because it's all about the edge. Okay, it's all about the edge. All right. So of course, in terms of fundamentals for today, I think we have two speeches coming up later today, as seen earlier on forexfactory.com. We have from uh, Jerome Powell, and I think another one for uh, Bank of England governor as well. Of course, that's available on the First Factory website, the preferred economic calendar that we use. But away from that, the big one, of course, last week Friday, that was 10th of October, will definitely go down in history. I'm sure some of us must have encountered that. All right. Of course, President Trump announced an additional 100% tariff on Chinese goods, and then now pushing it all the way to about 30%, I believe. And then we saw that big crash in the financial markets. Okay. We saw how, especially the US indices experienced. Yeah, I'm going to get to that in a minute. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Clement or Larry, I would prefer you drop it now so I don't lose my thoughts. We'll get to raising of hands much later in the presentation. But for now, I would prefer you drop it in the chat box, okay? Right. So I was saying that, especially for the US indices, we saw how they experienced a significant decline after that announcement. All right. Now, for me, I believe this isn't just about tariffs. This is war. This is war. Okay. Of course, let's rewind a little bit and then would understand that China has placed a ban on rare earth metals. Okay. Now, China doesn't really want to call it. Yeah, I know. I don't have any screen up yet. Okay, let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. I don't have any screen up. I'm just talking to you. Okay, before we get into technicals, so I'm going to share my screen. And then we're going to start from the dollar index as we normally do. Okay. Right. So I was saying that China, of course, placed the ban on rare earth metals, and then, of course, they didn't really call it place a ban, only that they are only tightening export controls on some of these metals. Okay, and when it comes to these metals, China, of course, dominates metal production, and including processing as well. So the country, China, is responsible for close to 90% of these metals. And this ban, so to say, or control is significant because these metals are critical, okay, for semiconductors. Okay, they also have usage in electric vehicles manufacturing, even in defense, as we've seen for some military aircrafts, and the big one, even in AI microchips. Okay, so as a result of that export control that they called it, Trump now retaliated with 100% tariffs. All right, retaliated with 100% tariffs, and then all of that happened. The market went really crazy. Okay, went really crazy. All right, so uh, having said that, so if you're wondering what's responsible for that decline in, especially the US indices that I believe some of us would have been trading at the time, or thinking to get into that, all right, that's what we have for the ban and tariffs and all of the topics around that. Okay, so back to the chart now. Back to the chart now. I'm going to be checking the chat box at random. So if you do have questions, you could drop them for me. I'm going to be checking at random. But before that, I'm going to get to technical setups right away. Okay, and of course, we're going to start with the dollar index. All right, so we have the dollar index up, and this is, of course, the daily time frame. This is the daily time frame. The daily time frame is, for me, I like to start from here. Uh, Understand the important key levels here. All right, the trends, the structure on the daily time frame, important support and resistance levels. So usually I like to use this as my anchor chart where the main analysis is carried out, usually the daily time frame or the 4 hours time frame. And then I tune down to a much lower one for entry opportunity. Okay. I believe once you have mastered the art of analyzing multiple time frames, you continue to get a clearer and more accurate picture of the market. Okay. And of course, this will lead to making smarter and more profitable decisions. All right. So, with the ongoing topics and everything around the tariffs, all right, we expect the market to continue to experience volatility, okay, as we continue to follow uh, things and topics around that. We expect the market to continue to experience a high volatility. And of course, volatility is important to us for trade, as traders because, of course, the market can experience significant movements. Okay, so you want to be better prepared for that. All right, you want to make sure that your trading account is adequately funded and you're not running around by the time we have opportunities in the markets. Okay, so this is the dollar index. This is the dollar index on the daily time frame. The dollar index, because once I understand the direction of the uh, dollar index, I can use this. I can relate this to the rest of the major pairs to understand uh, where the direction goes next. Okay, and the dollar index is one that we talked about multiple times. Okay, talked about this multiple times. All right. Since it hits this low at around 96 price level, it's been creating higher lows and higher highs. Of course, it's been creating higher lows and higher highs. And I remember, when was the last time on this forum? Around the 7th. Yeah, around the 7th we were here. The last time on this session, we were around, price was around here. And then at the time, we were looking at the 98.6 resistance. I was telling us how if price stayed above 97.7, it's going to continue to push higher, except we get a close back below that. And then we had highs on the resistance at 98.6. All right. So as it is right now, price is now convincingly above 98.6 resistance. So what that means is that automatically this level flips to support. Okay, this level flips to support, and then this is a must hold level for buyers. Okay, this is a must hold level for buyers, the 98.6 price level. Right. So what that means is that as long as price stays above that, but expect price to continue to push higher for the dollar index. Okay, expect it to continue to print higher prices. All right. And if that's the case for USD index, we'll be expecting pairs like Euro USD, Pounds USD to bearish. So we want to be looking for opportunities in that direction. All right. Now, what would invalidate that setup for the dollar index would be if we now get a close back below 98.6 support level. Now, this is a much broader perspective, all right, because this is a daily time frame. We can now head to as low as 30 minutes or 15 minutes for entry opportunities. Okay. Now, having said that for the dollar index, we now head over to uh, the euro dollar. Move on to the euro dollar. Right. I have some setups on. And I'm going to put up now. Right. Starting with euro dollar. Sorry, I didn't know how to pronounce that. Even the next one is Sonji. Okay, we'll get to it pretty soon. All right, so we have the euro dollar off. We have the euro dollar off, and then also on the daily time frame, again, our anchor chart where the main analysis is carried out. For me, usually the daily or the 4 hours time frame again, and then I head over to a lower one for entry opportunities, either 30 minutes or 15 minutes time frame for me. All right. So for the euro dollar, which is essentially the inverse of the dollar index, hits this bottom at 1.02 or thereabouts, and then it started printing higher prices, got really aggressive, pushing all the way to 1.19 resistance. Now, at 1.19 resistance, this rejection, of course, was significant at the time. All right, closed above, no, not closed above, it pushed above 1.19, and then we saw this spike, and then went back below 1.19, which means that a higher price was quickly rejected. And so far, we've seen Stella stepping and taking advantage of that fall. Okay, and then if we look at the structure that we have here, first of all, looking at this trend line dates back to sometime beginning of 2025. Okay, beginning of 2025. All right, when price hits that bottom at 1.02, got really aggressive, and then hit 1.19. You can see how that same trend line supported price multiple times. Okay, supported price multiple times until we got a break below that trend line sometime in September. Okay, price broke below that trend line, and then that was the first signal that this market would continue to get bearish. Okay, which is also in line with what we're saying for the dollar index. Okay, and number two, also looking at the structure here for euro dollar, we see series of lower highs and lower lows, all right, which is typical of a downtrend as well. Okay, we see series of lower highs and lower lows. Okay, so it created this new low right here. Okay, so for me, what this means is that again, we're still on the daily time frame. This I have eyes on this 1.16 level. All right, that's why we notice that the line there is bold. Okay, I have eyes on this 1.16 level. Now, 1.16 level, if you look back to what happened previously, impacted price. Okay, so look at what happened back here as well, and even here and here and here as resistance. So we have multiple confirmations how significant 1.16 level is. Okay, and right now that price is below 1.16 level, What that means is that automatically this level flips to resistance. Okay, flips to resistance. So for me, below 1.16 would be bearish. Okay, below 1.16 resistance will be bearish for euro dollar. All right, and for this pair, what would also invalidate that setup would be if we now get it close back above 1.16, then that would mean that we pull up the price action here would be a fake out, and then we can expect a significant move in the opposite direction. But for now, 1.16 is intact as resistance. Okay, it's intact as resistance. All right. So with that in mind, I then switch to the 30 minutes time frame. Okay, this pushed towards 1.16, a few pips away, and then give us a bearish engulfing candle, and then we're seeing that for that decline. Okay, we're seeing that for that decline. Now, what happens next? What happens next? What happens next? We see this levels here. Right, we see this level here. So this level here currently is support. And right about now, price is just breaking below it. But we need to see a break and close below that level, all right, before we have confirmation that this price will continue to fall. Okay, we need to see price break below this level and close below that level. All right, it's not enough to see a spike below it and only for price to go back above that level. Okay, so we need to see a break below that level and also price closing below that level, and that would mean that there is a high probability that price will continue to experience a decline below 1.156 right here. On the other hand, if we now have buyers stepping in at this support, as if we now get some bullish reversal patterns, like we got back here, like we got back here as well. This one gave us bullish engulfing candle at the same support level. All right, we see many spikes below that level only for price to go back above it. Okay, so if we get a similar pattern right here, then price will push higher from that support level. Okay, so those are two things I'll be looking out for on euro dollar, especially on this 30 minutes time frame. And I can even go as low as 15 minutes to see what I get there. Okay, to see what I get there. So on the 15 minutes time frame, this candle closed below that support level, and then I'll be waiting for a follow through candle. Okay, waiting for a follow through candle for more confirmation or additional level of confirmation. All right. So that's for the euro dollar. That's for the euro dollar. Adeyemi Olaliko, good morning to you, sir. Thank you for joining. Moving on to pound USD. Moving on to pound USD. Okay. Of course, similar to euro USD. Similar to euro USD. Yeah, we'll get there in a minute. We'll get there in a bit. Obviously, so again, for pounds USD on the daily time frame as well, the daily time frame, we have highs of 1.325 support level. Of course, if you look back, you'll see how that level impacted price in the past as well. So currently, we see price pushing towards that level right now at 1.325. Okay, 1.325. 1.325 currently is still acting as support until we see a convincing break below that level. Okay, until we see a convincing break below that level. Right about now, it's still acting as support. And then we also look at what we got back here. We also saw this rejection. Price spiked as high as what level? 1.372. Okay, We saw that long upper week, which signifies that a higher price was rejected. Okay. And then we saw that decline, similar to what we saw for Euro USD. Right. So now that it is approaching that support level, with that in mind, we then head to the 30-minute time frame to see what we got then. Right, so we still have our support at 1.325. Yeah, we'll get there in a bit. We still have our support at 1.325. So because price is already close to a support level, what we want to see here, and at the same time, because of the current strength that we have in dollar index, we're interested in selling. Okay, we're mainly looking for selling opportunity. However, that doesn't mean we don't get buying opportunities as well, especially for those who like to trade short term, look for short opportunities in the market. So what that means is that on this 30 minutes time frame or 15 minutes time frame, if we get some bullish reversal pattern, it will be an opportunity to go into a buy, all right, until we get a convincing break below that support level, all right. That's when I'm going to be looking for the short opportunity on pounds USD to also take advantage of the dollar strength, all right. A break below 1.325, all right, for me would be the signal to short pounds USD. On the other hand, a bullish reversal pattern around that support area would also give us some buying opportunity, all right, until we get a convincing break below the support at 1.325. That's for pounds USD, similar to real USD that I mentioned. Okay, Clement, hopefully we get to it uh, pretty soon. Let's see. NZD up next, NZD Now, NZD because I remember when price was around this area, I was telling us how it had the potential for a fake out, okay? Uh, of course, stayed in the midst of this descending channel, we see price attempt to break below and above the two trend lines that we have there, eventually breaking above it around this area, only for price to close back below and get inside of that descending channel. All right, now that's typical of a fake out. Okay, what it means is that the whole of the price level here is a fake out, a failed breakout, okay? And this usually triggers an extensive move in the opposite direction. And that played out, so far has played out quite brilliantly for NZD USD, okay? So I see right now, it's also below the support trend line, okay? If we extend it a little bit, you see how price is now trading below the support trend line, which means that there is more trouble ahead for the New Zealand dollar against the US dollar. So on this time frame, we'll be looking for opportunities to sell. We'll be looking for opportunities to sell until we get a close back inside of that descending channel. Okay, so this is what we have in the daily time frame, which is usually what I use as my anchor chart to get important key levels, important support and resistance levels, and then tune down to a much lower one for entry opportunities. Entry opportunities. So with that in mind, 30 minutes. And then this is what we have. This is what we have. Okay, still pretty much bearish, still pretty much pushing lower. Okay, So if you're already in this trade, that's fantastic. If you're already in this trade, the minute it broke below that support, and especially the support trend line, as we highlighted on the daily time frame. If you're already in it, that's fantastic. If you're looking to get into it, the most ideal way for me would be to hold on for some retracements, okay? To hold on for some retracements. You do not want to be choosing price, okay? To hold on for some retracements and then sell at a close resistance, okay? Sell at a close resistance. That's NZD USD, NZD USD. Next up, we have USD JPY, not USD JPY. Again, on the daily time frame. Right. So for USD JPY, back here when price was trading around this level, of course, this is significant consolidation. Lasted for about 2 months, I believe. Yeah, from July, July to September. All right, from July to September before we got that break above. Okay, now the more an asset consolidates within a range, the more aggressive the resulting breakout usually is. Now we got a break outside of that consolidation phase right here. This was September 25. Price broke out of that consolidation, okay, only to go back below it for several days and then found support again at the support trend line inside of that ascending channel. All right. And then we got some bullish confirmations right there and price pushed really higher from that level. Okay, Victoria, so should get to it. Right. And then the trend line resistance again. Price hits the trend line resistance, and then we have this bearish engulfing candle at that resistance. Okay, at that resistance. Right. So for USD JPY, resistance around 152.8, and especially this trend line resistance. So we're looking at the area between 152.8, okay, and then this trend line resistance right there. Okay, now remember, currently for USD JPY, USD is the base currency here. USD is the base currency. And then we started with the dollar index. We confirmed that we do have bullish patterns for the USD index. And if USD is the base currency here, what it means is that we expect this to continue to print higher prices. All right. So we're looking for opportunities to buy. Okay. So we want to be buying after retracement. Okay. We want to be buying after retracement or after we get a significant close above the resistance area right here. Levels between 152.8 and around 153.3. Okay, around that area. That's what it looks like on the daily time frame. Okay, so I'm going to shift to 30 minutes to see what we have. Okay. Right. So on USD JPY, for me, on the 30 minutes time frame, number one, I'm looking for a retracement back here and then take my buys from here, or a close inside of this ascending channel. Okay. Those are the two things I'm looking for on USD JPY. Number one, a further retracement to 151.7 or thereabout around this level. Okay, I get a retracement to that level, get some bullish confirmations around that, then that would be my trigger to long USD JPY. However, if we get a further or a break below that support level, then that would mean more trouble for USD against JPY. Or on the other hand, if I get it close back inside of this ascending channel, right? That would also be my signal to long USD against JPY, right? That's a decimal step. They will mean we have to check your end. The audio is great here, all right? We have to check your devices, all right? Yeah, moving on to USD card is the one that I also want to talk about, USD card, okay? Again on the daily time frame, again on the daily time frame. Now, USD card right here, and then we have an ascending channel here as well. Let's see how we connect that. This is the daily time frame. Okay. Okay, perfect. All right. So here we have ascending channel, like I said. Okay. So if you look at USD card, USD is the base currency. Then to take advantage of the dollar strength that we have, you'll be looking for opportunities to buy. Okay, you'll be looking for opportunities to buy. All right. So what this means is that inside of this channel, we need to wait for some bullish confirmations. All right. Currently, this level is acting as resistance for price. The price is approaching a resistance. That's what it means. Price is approaching a resistance, and you don't want to be buying at resistance. So the ideal thing here would be to wait for price to break above that resistance. All right, to break convincingly above that resistance so that it flips that level to support, and then we take our buys above that resistance, right? Now, if we get some bearish confirmations, some bearish patterns, if sellers are able to step in at that resistance and we get some selling pressure, okay, that would mean that we're going to experience some decline in USD card maybe before we get that push higher. We first see some decline. All right. Now that's the daily time frame. Let's see what it looks like on 30 minutes. Okay. Right. On 30 minutes, we now have price above that level. But of course, a lot can happen in 30 minutes. We still have that candle still forming. Okay, still forming. So we need to wait for that candle to close to see what happens. All right. Like I said, a lot can happen in 30 minutes. Eventually, we get it close back below that trend line resistance. So we need to get what happened at the end of this 30 minutes time frame. Okay. Um, okay, before I do that review or get to Euro card, all right, before I do that review or get to Euro card, I'd like to touch on oil. I'd like to touch on oil. Can present fantastic trade opportunities as well, and can also give us fantastic profits as well. Uh, oil, talking about oil. Okay. It has been on the losing streak. Okay. It has been on the losing streak. There have been concerns over excess supply, expectations that OPEC may increase production, right? There have been that ongoing talks that OPEC may increase production, all right? And then if productions will be increased, what it means is that the market will be flooded and then we can expect price to fall, all right? And that's what we currently see on oil right now, okay? That's what we currently see on oil right now. And then the fall may continue, right? The fall may continue because OPEC plans to increase of production starting in November. I think they said about 137,000 barrels per day. So increase it by 137,000 barrels per day. All right. For us as traders, that's very fantastic. We look for opportunities to short, okay, because they plan to increase. And then that's like flooding the market, that's surplus, and then price is expected to crash. And for us as traders, we're beginning to see that play out on the chart. Okay, we're beginning to see how that plays out on the chart. All right. Initially, we have price inside of this consolidation. Between 69 resistance. All right, between 69 resistance and around 65.35. Okay, price stayed inside of that consolidation for between July and October. Okay, eventually we got that break below, pushed back higher, and then that's sell off, right? That's aggressive sell off. So right now, price is below the support side, okay, at 65.35. So what that means is that automatically this level flips to resistance, and then price continues to print lower levels. Okay, so like I said, for oil, based on the ongoing topics around OPEC, the fact that they plan to increase production by 137,000 barrels per day, all right, we can expect price to continue to push lower. So what that means for us as traders is that we continue to look for opportunities to sell, all right? We continue to look for opportunities to sell, which aligns with the ongoing fundamentals around oil, all right? So on the 30 minutes time frame, right, this is what it looks like on 30 minutes time frame. Before that, okay, this is just me trying to get the key levels. Right. So as it says, price is just breaking below this support. So automatically that level flips to resistance. It flips to resistance. Flips to resistance. So if you already have a trade here, you already have a trade here, that's fantastic. You already have a trade here, that's fantastic. Otherwise, you want to wait for price to retest this level as resistance, wait for some selling pressure around the resistance, and then that would be the opportunity to short the Brent oil. All right. However, if what we get instead is it close back above that resistance, then we may get a much a higher pullback into levels like 63.5. Okay, the levels like 63.5. That's for oil. Okay, I see some assets that you want me to look back on. So I'll start with euro dollar, euro dollar, euro dollar. So for euro dollar, we started from here. right? And then below 1.16 still pretty much bearish, all right? So what that means is that we look for opportunities to sell. And then heading back to 30 minutes time frame. So on the 30 minutes time frame, price broke below 1.156 support, broke below 1.156 support. So we're waiting for some confirmations to sell. All right. So if you look at what we have on the 15 minutes time frame, you see this bullish candle. All right. See this bullish candle pushing towards resistance at 1.156. All right. So if we get price here eventually, all right, that's where I'm looking out for opportunity to sell at this level. Okay, 1.156. Right, looking for an opportunity to sell around that area, right? Of course, after confirming it with some bearish reversal pattern at that level. And price is also significantly below 50-period moving average, which further signifies weakness, So that's Euro USD. And then we have Euro card. Emmanuel says we have a buy trade there. Euro cards. Okay, I'm not sure where you bought from, but I'm expecting or hoping that your battery will be in profit. This is what we have on the daily time frame. We have this key level here, all right, based on the pattern that we have here as resistance, here as support, and then here as support as well. Okay, so we already have a bullish engulfing candle, all right? We already have a bullish engulfing candle right at that support. Okay, so on 30 minutes time frame, this is what it looks like on 30 minutes time frame. We have the typical structure of an uptrend. Okay, we have the typical structure of an uptrend. So we're looking at this level here. Right? So we see how price is beginning to push away from that support. All right. So what I need to see here is some bullish confirmations, right? Is additional confirmation in order to long Euro cut, right? In order to long Euro cut. So I need to see some bullish reversal patterns right there. Okay. That's on 30 minutes time frame. On 15 minutes time frame, what it means is that we're waiting for this current 15 minutes candle to close, all right, to close, right? If you see it close back above that resistance now, close back above that resistance, then you'll be gearing up for some push higher, okay? You'll be gearing up for some push higher, especially because price is now at support, okay? The previous high that was broken right here, all right? That's for Euro card. Then let's look at AUD USD, AUD USD. Let's keep it here. In this pair now, USD is the counter currency, AUD is the base, okay? First, on the daily time frame, this is what we have. On the daily time frame, it's sitting right on a support level at 0.645. okay, at this support level. Right. So what that means is that currently USD staying above 98.6 is bullish, and USD is the counter currency here. So what that means is that we expect AUD to continue to fall against the dollar for AUD USD. However, it's currently on a support level, and you do not want to be selling at support. So what's the best way to trade this? Number one, we wait for some pullback. All right, we wait for some pullback, get some bearish confirmations, and then that would be the signal to short. All right, or number two, wait for price to break below that support convincingly so that that level automatically flips to resistance, and now we'll be selling at resistance if that plays out. Okay, if that plays out. So that's what we have on the daily time frame. The daily time frame. Best place I like to start to get the structure and important key levels. And then I tune down to much lower one for entry opportunity. Okay. So on 30 minutes now, right. And then we have our support right here at 0.645. Okay. So what that means is that if we get, if buyers are able to step in here, and get some buying pressure at this support, or we get a bullish reversal pattern, then we can expect price to push higher before we eventually see that fall. Okay, before we eventually see that fall, right? Or for me, would be if I get a close below support, which is what I'll be expecting, right, to take advantage of the strength that we have in the dollar, all right? But of course, we don't get too comfortable with a specific trade pattern, okay? We don't get too comfortable with a specific trade pattern. We like to consider all scenarios, okay? We like to consider all scenarios because the market has the potential to change rapidly, all right? Has the potential to change rapidly. So the price usually has the final say, all right? But of course, based on technicals, based on fundamentals, we do have some expectations, all right? We do have some expectations. So as it is, AUD USD currently sitting on this support level at 0.645. Okay, so two things here. If we get some bullish reversal pattern right here on this support, then we may get some push higher. Okay, we get some push higher before the bearish move continues. Number two, we get a close below that support so that it flips that level to resistance. And now we can see we're selling at resistance. All right. And say we're selling at resistance. So that would be my expectation for AUD USD in order to pick a trade here. In order to pick a trade here. That would be my expectation. All right. Anything on USD CHF? Again, this is the daily time frame. I have this setup that I'm looking at on the daily time frame. Okay. Right. So this level resistance. All right. This level resistance. Currently price is above it. Currently price is above it. So what it means is that okay, it's not convincing yet. It's sitting right on that resistance. All right, it's sitting right on that resistance. So you cannot say that it's right above it, especially on this daily time frame. Okay, so we flip that to 30 minutes to see what it looks like on 30 minutes. Right, so price is still around that level. Okay, I'll rather take it from here. Right. So we see why this is experiencing a decline now. See why this is experiencing a decline now. We have this trend line resistance right here. Okay, so for me, this is the 50-period moving average. Price is above that. All right, price is above that. So for me to long USD CHF, all right, one, I need to see a break above resistance at 0.804, all right, 0.804, especially a break above this trend line resistance, okay? Number one, like I said, a break above 0.804 resistance, and then I'll be looking towards, because it's really close, I'll be looking towards a break above 0.80455. So essentially in that area, okay? Right, so for me, I need to see price take out this area for these two, okay, as bullish as it can get, right? That's USDC picture. That's USDC. All right, that's for USDCHM. Okay, right. Okay, so um, I believe it's a fine place to leave it for today. I believe it's a fine place to leave it for today. We've been able to touch on uh, quite a number of assets that we can look at for today and even for the rest of the week as well, depending on when it's set, depending on when it's set. Oh, that's really too high. That's really too high. It's not one that I want to talk about right now. It's really too high. Okay, it's really too high. There's been a lot of ongoing sentiments and topics around that asset. So it's not one that I want to touch on right now. It's really, really, really high. Yeah, we did Eurocard based on the request manual. We touched on Eurocard, and I hope you got all set for Eurocard. I think it was based on the request that I touched on Eurocard. So on Eurocard, we're just waiting for it to. So for example, we already have this bullish reversal pattern right here. So we need this additional confirmation because it's still very close to support. So if this uh, next candle, all right, if this next candle close bullish, all right, that would be the trigger to uh, long euro cut. Okay, that will be the signal to long euro cut. All right, which is still consistent with the structure of an uptrend, creating higher lows and higher highs. Okay, we got that higher high, created a higher low, and now we expect price to push even higher from this current level. Okay, all right, so that's a fine place to leave it for today. Thank you for taking the time out to join us today on today's edition of the Morning Market Review. Do plan to join us same time tomorrow from 8 a.m. Thank you, and I wish us a great trading day. Bye for now.